Alright guys, so this week we've been working on fractions and how to compare them, how to know if they're equivalent or not. And I decided that maybe we can take it a step further. We're going to go through this word problem and to see how can we compare fractions in a different way. Do I have a volunteer to read out the word problem? Elijah? Nice and loud.
Mrs. Gonzalez is the manager of the Upside Down Museum on Elm Street. During the holidays, she decided to reward the person that spent the most amount of time giving tours each day. Brianna gives tours 3 times a day for 5/6 of an hour. Jason gives tours four times a day for 7/12 of an hour. Who will be rewarded?
Thank you. So the first thing that we need to know before we tackle this problem, because there's a lot of levels to it, we need to know how to go in order. What do they want us to find? Go ahead.
Who will be rewarded?
Who will be rewarded? And how do we know who's going to be rewarded? Yes?
By seeing how long they've been volunteering to give tours.
Okay, so let's highlight the important information. What do you think I should underline? Elijah?
Brianna gives tours 3 times a day for
5/6 of an hour. Good. Nicholas, you wanted to say something?
Jason gives tours 4 times a day for 7/12.
4 times a day for 7/12 of an hour. Good. So how do we know? Can we tell from just this information right away who gives more tours? Who spends more time giving tours?
No.
Okay. So now that we know what we're looking for and how and what's important, we're gonna use the information. So what's one way that I can do it? How can I look for Brianna's amount of time?
You can compare 5/6 to you could find a common denominator, which 5/6 times 2 is 10/12, and that you could multiply that by 3, and then 4 times 7/12, and find the answers, and then see who has more.
Great. All right. So Rick, thank you so much. That was wonderful. We're gonna see if we can break it down into slower steps. So let's go ahead and look at Brianna's. Make a column for her. She goes 3 times a day for 5/6 of an hour. Now, do you guys remember how we go about to multiply a whole number by a fraction? Go ahead.
You have to make the whole number in proper fraction.
Okay, how can we do that?
You could make a line under the 3 and then put a 1 in it.
Okay. And do I cross multiply, upside down multiply? What do I do?
Straight across.
Okay, great. So 3 times 5 equals? 15. 6 times 1? 6. Good job. So now we're going to move on to Jason. And he goes 4 times a day for 7/12 of an hour. So what do I do? Yeah.
The same thing, you put 4 over 1.
Great. And 7 times 4?
28.
Great. 12 times 1?
12.
Great. Okay, so now we have these two fractions, 15 over 6 and 28 over 12. Can we just tell, just like looking at them, which one's bigger, or do we need to take more steps? Okay. So what's the issue? What's keeping us from going on to see what's bigger? Yeah.
The denominators are the same.
Yes. And so that's our obstacle, and we're going to find a way to get over it. Now, I have a small little rhyme because I know for me sometimes it's difficult to remember. What do? I have 2 different fractions, but I need to know which one's bigger. So I'll write it on the board and we can say it together. So, I forgot it. If the denominators don't look alike, there's no need to feel afraid. LCD is what we'll find to compare the fractions that are now aligned. So I'll say the first, we can go through it together. So we can say the first couplet. If the denominators don't look alike, there's no need to feel afraid.
If the denominators don't look alike, there's no need to feel afraid.
Good? I know, it's silly, but it helps. Silly things always help. Next part. LCD is what we'll find.
LCD is what we'll find
to compare the fractions that are now aligned.
to compare the fractions that are now aligned.
Good. You guys remember what LCD is?
Least common denominator.
Least common denominator. So how can we get that from here? Yeah.
Since 6 and 12 are both, well, 6 is a multiple of 12. You can do 6 times 2 to get 12, and then whenever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top.
So we would multiply this by 2.
Yes.
That's great. So how, now just remembering what least common denominator is